Right now at 10, an historic meeting. President Trump and Kim Jong-un face-to-face for the first time.
A potentially dangerous situation. Algae blooms closing several swimming areas in Madison, and experts warn it will only get worse.
And later, UW scientists conducting some breakthrough research to try and help reduce harmful greenhouse gases from dairy farms.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. As we speak, a high-stakes summit with global implications is underway in Singapore.
A short time ago, President Trump met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un for the first time. CBS's Mola Lengi is at the White House with the latest on this breaking news.
President Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un met one-on-one for the first time on the island resort of Sentosa in Singapore. The two leaders retreated behind closed doors for the historic meeting, scheduled to last 45 minutes. During that time, the only people in the room with them were their translators.
We're going to have a great discussion, and I think tremendous success. It'll be tremendously successful.
Mr. Trump has said the summit's most crucial moments would come at the beginning.
How long will it take to figure out whether or not they're serious? I said maybe in the first minute. I think that very quickly I'll know whether or not something good is going to happen.
The White House has repeatedly said its goal is the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, but it's not clear how they'll convince Pyongyang to do that. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo offered few details as to what the U.S. would offer North Korea.
President Trump recognizes Chairman Kim's desire for security and is prepared to ensure that a North Korea free of weapons of mass destruction is also a secure North Korea.
President Trump believes the summit itself is a sign of progress. Beforehand, he tweeted, in part, "The fact that I am having a meeting is a major loss for the U.S., say the haters and losers." Mola Lengi, CBS News, Washington.
After their one-on-one meeting about 45 minutes ago, President Trump and Kim Jong-un went on a short walk at the summit site before the expanded bilateral meeting with more advisors from both sides. The president is scheduled to brief reporters about the summit at 4 p.m. in Singapore. That is 3 a.m. our time tomorrow morning.
And breaking out of Washington tonight, top economic advisor Larry Kudlow had a heart attack. President Trump tweeted he was brought to Walter Reed Medical Center just before his meeting with the North Korean leader. No word on his condition. Stay with News 3 as we do get more information.
Next at 10, toxic algae blooms known to be harmful to people and pets is a known problem on our lakes. Keely Arthur shares how new research shows how the issue continues to grow.
I mean, all over the state there's beautiful water, but there's a lot of people using these lakes.
With lakes Mendota, Monona, and Wingra, just to name a few, there's no shortage of waterway beauty in Dane County. Unfortunately, though, something ugly is surfacing.
It really looked like a carpet.
This is Lake Mendota just a few days ago, covered in algae blooms.
You couldn't see into the water anymore. The way that the sunlight was penetrating the water, it just looked like this murky, kind of greenish, bluish color.
The lake has always bloomed quite a bit.
Steve Carpenter of UW Limnology says the size and danger of the algae blooms has ebbed and flowed, but recently it's gotten worse. A new study supports that. Pointing to climate change, it shows that heavy rains like the ones this May and June wash more phosphorus from manure into the lakes, leading to earlier and earlier blooms. When those blooms die off, it emits nitrogen, a perfect recipe for more toxic algae.
The poisonous algae are going to have a lot of phosphorus and a lot of nitrogen, and they're going to grow like gangbusters. All they need is warm water.
Something that's inevitable as we head further into the summer, likely leading to beach closures, so you'll feel it firsthand.
So why would you want to swim in it? And that's one of the best features of this part of the state.
Now, on top of that research, there are groups actively trying to fix or at least cut down on the problem. For example, Yahara Pride Farms is a group of about 60 area farmers dedicated to protecting water quality. And Dane County recently unveiled its Suck the Muck campaign, which literally sucks years of phosphorus out of the bottom of some of our area waterways.
Important. A lot of work being done for the environment from farmers. Keely, thank you.
And we know the water plays a part in the algae blooms. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with our first alert forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Charlotte. Well, warm and humid weather will be with us again for tomorrow, but there might be a little break after that Well, by the weekend, the heat and humidity really come back. Look for high temperatures in the upper 80s on Saturday, around 90 on Sunday, with heat index values between 90 and 95 Saturday, perhaps close to 100 on Sunday. So we have alert days in the forecast for both Saturday and Sunday. On Weather Track, you can see showers and thunderstorms across Minnesota, moving into northwestern Wisconsin, just kind of falling apart. Showers and thunderstorms, some severe weather over parts of Iowa. Moving eastward, mainly will stay to our south and to our west, although it's possible an isolated shower or thunderstorm could reach us later on tonight. Right now, nothing is imminent. Closest thunderstorms are near Rochester, Minnesota. High temperatures today, generally mid to upper 70s. The cloud cover held us down a bit. Closer to Lake Michigan, a lake breeze there kept temperatures in the 60s. Notice to the north and west, a little more sunshine up toward La Crosse and Black River Falls. Temperatures there were in the lower 80s. Current temperatures now are in the 50s near Lake Michigan, but generally 60s to around 70 across the rest of southern Wisconsin. Dew point temperatures are still in the lower to middle 60s. By tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to be down to the lower to middle 60s with some patchy fog. There'll be a slight chance of a thunderstorm overnight, a little better chance for a shower or thunderstorm during the day tomorrow. Our high temperature reaching 80. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. A touching vigil tonight for a Milwaukee police officer who died in the line of duty last week. Officer Charles Irvine Jr., just 23 years old, died in a crash last Thursday after pursuing a vehicle. Irvine is the first Milwaukee police officer killed in the line of duty in some 22 years.
A retired City of Beloit police officer will face a judge tomorrow, arrested this weekend on charges of sexual assault of a child investigation. 62-year-old Larry Woods was most recently working as a security guard for the Beloit School District and Beloit Library. According to a release, officers arrested him over the weekend. He retired from the force in 2007. The community in Monroe is remembering the 4 people from Kenosha who died in a plane crash yesterday. Today we learned the pilot was 81-year-old Colleen Deininger, who was flying with her daughter and 2 grandchildren. They are all from Kenosha and were headed to Monroe to celebrate a graduation. Federal officials say the investigation into what caused the plane to crash could take up to 2 years.
A Sun Prairie family and the entire community in Partyville are remembering a couple killed in a car crash. One of them, a longtime drama teacher. Frank and Lori Fundingsland were hit head-on by a reckless driver on Highway 19 on Friday. Lori was a special education assistant and a drama director at Partyville High School since 1994. Her husband, Frank, had been diagnosed with stage 4 colon and liver cancer, and the two were on their way to an appointment with a UW oncologist when they were hit. The Old Fashioned restaurant downtown back open after a fire last week as of 4 this afternoon. Staff has been cleaning it up all weekend. When we visited this afternoon, 16 staff members were there cleaning things up. They reopened the breakfast area and the upstairs dining room at 4. They're hoping to open the rest of the dining areas this week or maybe early next week.
Next at 10, some incredible video tonight. This is Santa Monica, California, where a sedan was stopped by some safety wiring in a parking structure. It's on the 4th floor, and the good news is the driver got out safely and the car was eventually pulled back. And in New York, after years of delays, 3 World Trade Center is open for business. The building is now the 2nd tallest in the World Trade Center site and the 5th tallest skyscraper in New York City, rising nearly 1,100 feet. The 80-story building is the 3rd completed skyscraper where the Twin Towers once stood.
Madison College expanding to a new campus, breaking ground today on the Goodman South campus. The $23 million site is designed with accessibility in mind, with support services in-house and a convenient location next to the Madison Metro South transfer point. Officials hope the new campus will be operational by the fall of 2019. New tonight, Madison's composting program is no more.
The city's street department made the decision last week after they couldn't find a solution to the contamination problem. Amy Reed joins us now live from the patio to explain more about this problem. Amy?
Well, this has been an issue since the beginning 7 years ago. The city needed to find an affordable way to remove non-compostable materials like plastic bags that people kept tossing in. But the city wants to keep working on it. They said the program aligns with the city's sustainability goals, and they hope by having what they call a clean break, they can figure out the solution.
No one likes to end a program like this. You know, like we've been able to do this. It's a bummer that it needs to end. You know, but at the same time, it needs to end too. We have to do something to clean this material up.
There are quite a few people who are upset by this, but they hope in the meantime people can find ways to cut back themselves. The city doesn't have a timeline for when they can start the program right now.
Amy Reed reporting tonight. Amy, thank you.
Tomorrow is special election day for parts of Wisconsin, including one race in our viewing area. Voters will head to the polls in the 42nd Assembly District. Republican John Plummer going against Democrat Ann Groves Lloyd. There is also an independent in that race, Gene Rubenstein. That district covers parts of Dane, Columbia, Dodge, Marquette, Green Lake, and Fond du Lac counties. And then in northeastern Wisconsin, voters will pick between Republican Andre Jacques and Democrat Caleb Frostman in the state's first Senate district. The polls open at 7 in the morning. They'll close at 8 in the evening.
Still to come tonight, Gary looks at our chance of storms in the days ahead in his complete forecast.
And now the UW is one of just 4 places in the world doing some breakthrough research on reducing the carbon footprint of cows. That's next at 10.
It's
Welcome back. We often hear about changes people can make to reduce our carbon footprint to cut back on greenhouse gases.
Well, the same holds true for Wisconsin's mighty dairy industry. Cows have a massive carbon footprint, and UW researchers are looking for ways to reduce it. At the UW Dairy Cattle Center on campus, cows are being breathalyzed. There are plenty of spotted cows in this barn, but these cows are being tested for methane gas on their breath.
Most of the carbon footprints associated with the production and consumption of milk takes place on the farm.
Scientists say methane, with cows often the source, has increased exponentially in our atmosphere over the past 200 years. UW dairy researcher Michelle Watteau wants to do something about it.
The numbers are easy to remember, actually. It's for every pounds of milk that you would consume, there is 2 pounds of CO2 equivalent emitted in the atmosphere.
And all that methane doesn't come from where you might think it does.
So the cow eats the feed, and it goes into her rumen, which is the first stomach where the fermentation takes place. So 90% of the methane coming out of the cow comes out the front end as she breathes out the oxygen through her lungs.
That's why they're trapping the exhaled gas in what's called a green feed system, operated here by grad student Elias Udin.
For that, we kind of use a treat for bringing cows inside the machine.
You basically try to capture the breath of the cow, measure the methane, and try to measure the flow, how much gas goes through, so that you can measure the amount of methane that comes out of the cow.
Baiting these Holsteins with treats, they looked at which feed would produce the most methane.
We had 4 diets in our experiments. So first 2 diets we had low fiber, and other 2 diets had high fiber.
Obviously, we're trying to change the diet composition such that the cow still have all the nutrients she needs to produce the milk, but with less methane.
Measuring the methane while feeding was only the first step of a 3-step experiment. Next, they measured emissions from stored manure, and then a 3rd step last fall measured emissions from manure when it's typically spread on a farmer's field. And that's when yet another dangerous greenhouse gas comes into play.
The nitrous oxide comes from primarily the nitrogen fertilizer that we apply to the soil, and that includes commercial fertilizer as well as the nitrogen in the manure of the cow.
The goal is to help the dairy industry overall reduce its carbon footprint by 25% by the year 2020.
It's not going to be a one-size-fits-all, right? It's going to be a kind of a menu of options, depending how you feed your cows, how you produce your feed, how you handle the manure.
And by next year, they hope to turn over their findings to dairy producers.
What we hope to achieve is to provide farmers with, what fits best for their particular operation.
And the UW, one of just 4 places in the entire world conducting tests for greenhouse gas emissions from the dairy industry. That carbon footprint is a lengthy process, starting with the actual feeding of the cow. It includes every component of production, including you driving to the store to get your milk, even what it takes to put containers in the landfill.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canaldi joins us now with a look at your forecast.
Temperatures are going to be around 80 in the next couple of days. Humidity levels will still be up for tomorrow. And a lot of that is because of the rain that we had over the last few days. But after that, we should see a little break in the humidity before it comes back for the weekend when we have alert days in place for Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures, upper 80s on Saturday and around 90 on Sunday, with just a very slight chance of a shower or thunderstorm to break the heat. So that puts heat index values into the dangerous category, 90 to 95 on Saturday and maybe close to 100 in spots on Sunday. Now tonight, there have been some showers and thunderstorms up in the Twin Cities. Watch how they just kind of fizzle as they push into Wisconsin. The more persistent area of showers and thunderstorms occurred in western Iowa, some severe weather there. Now it's just heavy rain producers around Des Moines, but the bulk of that activity will stay to our south. Northern edge of this, you can see just some isolated showers and thunderstorms as that moves eastward. We could see a stray shower or thunderstorm tonight into tomorrow before a cold front comes through, and then eventually doesn't really have much of an effect on temperatures, but it does drop the humidity a bit. Doppler track right now pretty quiet across southern Wisconsin, so it'll be later on tonight before we see a threat for a shower or thunderstorm. High temperatures will be around 80 for the next few days, but by the weekend those temperatures go up. There'll be some showers and thunderstorm chances on Friday as a warm front comes through, and then as the temperatures go up, the rain chances actually go down for the weekend. Warm air aloft keeps the thunderstorms from developing. And then as a cold front arrives on Monday, temperatures drop back to the mid-80s and we'll see better chances for showers and thunderstorms. But the heat may continue on for a while. The 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center calling for above normal temperatures through much of the country with the highest probabilities in the Pacific Northwest. Precipitation is expected to be above normal through a wide part of the country, but not very high probabilities of that. There'll probably be some areas of heavier rain and then areas that don't get as much. The chances for below normal precipitation generally right along the U.S.-Canadian border. Time lapse from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville from this afternoon shows plenty of clouds and a few breaks in the overcast, especially as we headed into the early evening hours. The lower clouds tended to thin out a bit, and you can still see the higher clouds overhead, but then the clouds kind of filled back in. Here's the live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. No rain here right now, and I'm not expecting any rain for tonight. Almanac for today, high did make it up to 75 degrees after starting out at 60. Right now, we're sitting at 67 degrees. Skies are mostly cloudy. The humidity is at 84%. Dew point temperature at 62, so as the temperature gets closer to the dew point, could see some patchy areas of fog form overnight. Current temperature is only 45 degrees in Superior with a breeze off of Lake Superior, but elsewhere temperatures upper 60s to the lower 70s. And those showers and thunderstorms out to the west, moving a little farther south now as the jet stream just kind of splits and most of the storms are taking the southern branch of the jet stream. Out in the Pacific Ocean, though, Southwesterly winds continue, and that means the warm weather will continue into at least the first part of next week. Mild conditions across the Midwest, but again, a fair amount of humidity, at least around here. Forecast for tonight calls for mostly cloudy skies, some patchy fog possible, an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Daybreak temperature about 62. Tomorrow, 80 degrees for a high temperature. It'll be warm and humid, a chance of a shower or thunderstorm. On future track, you can see cloudy skies overnight, just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm in some areas of fog, lows in the lower 60s. Tomorrow, high temperatures are right around 80 degrees. Again, a chance for a shower or thunderstorm, but once the cold front comes through, notice how the clouds clear out, the air dries out, temperatures drop to around 60 by early on Wednesday, and then Wednesday we'll see sunny skies, high temperatures right around 80 degrees. As we look at the 7 to 10-day forecast, those temperatures go up as we head into the weekend, and again, upper 80s to around 90 for Saturday and Sunday. Thunderstorm chances will be highest on Friday, and then Monday, little break in the humidity Tuesday, and then that comes back Wednesday and Thursday with some shower and thunderstorm chances. That really looks like a summertime forecast to me.
It certainly does, just in time.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brewers and Cubs battling at Miller Park right now. Tight race. The top of the NL Central. The highlights coming away next in sports.
Well, Eric Thames making his return to the Brewers roster, reinstated from the 10-day disabled list. Brandon Woodruff sent down to AAA to take his place. Now, Thames has been out since the end of April after he tore a ligament in his thumb. Now, he was not in the lineup tonight, though, as the Brewers open up a series against the the Cubs. Scoreless until the third inning, Eric Kratz, he will send that Jose Quintana pitch straight up and back, a little to the right, for a solo home run, 1-0 Brewers. Fast forward to the fifth inning now, Albert Almora Jr. sending that ball to the left field gap there. RBI single scoring Javi Baez. We've got a tie ball game. Bottom of the inning, though, Brewers responding in the form of this Jonathan Villar solo shot out of the park. Brewers take the 2-1 lead, but because this is Cubs Brewers, the Cubs, of course, answer back. Jason Hayward with the RBI single to right, scoring Ben Zobrist. Tied again. That's where we stand right now, halfway through the 10th inning. Well, we are less than 12 hours away from the start of the WIAA baseball tournament at Fox City Stadium. Here's a look at which teams from our area will be playing tomorrow. It's the Division I quarterfinals. They start at 8 a.m. Wanakee taking on Eau Claire North, followed by Janesville Craig and Milwaukee King at 1. Now, if either of those teams win, they'll play in the semifinals, which start at 6 p.m. Divisions 2, 3, and 4 will play on Wednesday. Well, former Burlington High School and Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo making an appearance at the WSGA Match Play Golf Tournament at Blackhawk Country Club. Romo playing in quite a few tournaments in Wisconsin, putting on 9 there. He ended the day 4 over 76. He's tied for 42nd place. So he will move on to match play. The cutoff is the top 64 scores. That starts tomorrow back at Blackhawk Country Club. Well, 1 week and counting until the festivities of the 3rd annual American Family Insurance Championship kickoff at University Ridge. Now, the Champions Tour tournament starts on Friday, goes until Sunday, and host Steve Stricker, always a popular pro along the course, as well as a Madison native Jerry Kelly. Now, he finished tied for 6th place at the Principal Charity Classic in Des Moines, Iowa this past weekend. He's currently 3rd in the Charles Schwab Cup season list, and sure, he plays week in and week out, but he's grateful for all of the experiences.
The competition is so difficult, and it's so much fun, and it's the same guys that we've been beating up on each other for so long. No, it hasn't gotten old. The second that adrenaline isn't pumping there for me, I won't be playing, but I can't imagine when that happens.
And finally tonight, some news on the NBA coaching front. Dwayne Casey has found a new home. He was named head coach of the Detroit Pistons today, just 1 month after he was fired by the Raptors. No word yet on the exact terms of the deal, but reportedly a 5-year contract. The 61-year-old led Toronto to a franchise record 59-win season and the top seed in the East. We'll be right back.
Some showers and thunderstorms out to the west of us. We could see a stray shower or thunderstorm later tonight or during the day tomorrow. Tomorrow's high at 80. A little less humidity Wednesday and Thursday, highs in the lower 80s. Then the heat comes back as we head toward the weekend with highs around 90 and alert days in place for high humidity. Some thunderstorm chances, especially Friday, Monday, and then later next week.
Gary, thanks for joining us.
Do something good. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning. Now.